Tennessee Valley Sports with Rocco DiSangro.
4 teams competing for this trophy right here. That has been the norm since the college football playoff was established. It's how the format will stay for this year and next. But in 2023, the landscape of the CFP will change as we know it. Back here at the BBC Mars Music Hall, here, let's take a look at who's just walking through the door. Unbelievable. That is Kyra Lewis Jr. It was the foul seen around the college basketball world. A controversial call in the Final Four put an end to the Auburn Tigers season. The National State Games are set to begin on August 2nd, and Bill Perry hopes for a lot of these when he hits the lanes in Virginia. You remember Happy by Pharrell? That was the #1 song in 2014. 7 years ago, UAH baseball was also happy. Now the Ninja Challenge may only be in its first year in the Alabama State game, but with its growth, this may only be the beginning. This state-of-the-art minor league baseball facility started as a pile of rubble, and if you took your daily commute on 565, you saw the progress on the outside, but the interior, it's a thing of beauty as well. Deion Sanders, better known as Primetime, was one of the many who benefited from the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Bring the family out, enjoy this, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So guys, if you need me, I'll be watching some baseball. Which hat will your favorite player be wearing by the end of the night? Guess we'll have to wait and see.
It's the actual game program from the 27 Rose Bowl.
There are diehard fans.
Just before Coach Bryant came out for his last game in Liberty Stadium.
And then there's Tommy Ray.
A lot of people call me a nut, like I told you earlier, and I agree. I mean, you're crazy, but my response is I'm very blessed.
The 71-year-old Huntsville native has the longest active streak of Alabama football games attended at 600. And here's the catch. He's never been a season ticket holder.
People go by and try to sell me a ticket, and I said, no, that's too much. And they'll look at me and say, you ain't going to get in this game. I just sort of grin, and I don't respond back to them. I said, I think I will.
There was the one time where Ray even wrote the school for tickets.
Regret very much that it is not possible to fill your order.
And that was the last game he missed.
Starting with Coach Bryant, you know, I saw his last, I think, 135 games or something like that.
Name an Alabama football game from 1972 to now. Tommy Ray has been there.
Starting with the Duke game of 72, the first game, I have been and attended in person every single game.
24 states, 54 stadiums, 84 different opponents, and 11 national title games.
Still enjoy it as much as I did in 1963 when my eyes was wide open. You know, you think back and it's just been one game at a time.
And since the Saban era began in Tuscaloosa, his wife Sarah has been along for the ride. You go back to #1 when the streak began. Sitting there in the stands, watching the Crimson Tide play, getting to take that all in. Did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams that this would become a reality and you'd be at 600?
It didn't dawn on me that I'd see all of them that year. I went next week, they played Kentucky. Next thing, it turned into a decade. And in 20 years, in 30 years, in 40 years, and now I'm into the 48th consecutive year of going every week.
And when the Tide square off with LSU at 2:30, you can bet you'll see Tommy Ray in the stands for number 601.
I've got 4, and I have tickets to that one. And I'm not a 700 guy, 800, try to get 800, try to beat so-and-so. And I'm not that. I'm just one game at a time. That's all I'm asking. If I died today, with football aside, no football involved or whatsoever, and all that gone, nothing in my life, I would still say I have lived a blessed life.
You know, we won a championship last year. I think we're picked #1 this year, and so everybody's coming after us, and we know that, and we're the hunted.
When Connell Maynard took over as head coach on the Hill, he brought with him this motto.
Respect all, fear none.
It's not just a saying, but a mentality that his team has embraced. One that led the Bulldogs to their first SWAC championship in 15 years.
And you got to be ready to play every week, because if you don't respect them, they will beat you.
And a frame of mind they'll carry with them this season as they look to go back-to-back.
I want everybody to bring their best, which is what we're going to get. So I'm just excited for the opportunity to go compete for another championship.
Approaching how we approach every other season, I mean, just win. Our hit, our score, our hustle, our opponent, and do what we have to do to win another championship. Win every game, win our next game.
With a group that includes reigning SWAC Player of the Year Aquil Glass and a receiving core among the best in the country, Alabama A&M truly feels that it can win the conference title once again.
They picked us #1, so now we got the opportunity to prove them right, or we can prove them wrong.
All the people saying our championship was a fluke and this and that, we're just excited to prove them this fall.
Tuscaloosa and Hoover are about 50 minutes apart, give or take. Not a far trip by any means for Alabama baseball. The last 5 years, though, the Crimson Tide program has faced its fair share of roadblocks. Rather than finding a detour in 2021, this team is trucking along. 10-seed Tide, 2-seed Vols in the SEC tournament. Let's get to it. Owen Diodati steps into the box with a runner on, doubles down the right field line. Zane Denton pulls up at third. He would score in the inning on a fielder's choice. So Bama with a 1-0 lead, bottom 7. Tied with a 2-1 lead. The Vols will tie it up. An infield single by Liam Spence gets the job done. To the 9th. Still tied at 2. Jake Rucker with a chance to walk it off. Double play ball. Out at second. The throw to first. Not in time. Vols think they won the game, but obstruction is called. Watch the left hand. So we go to extras. In the 11th, Diodati puts the Tide ahead here, and they would close it out in the bottom half. Athens native Jacob McNary was lights out on the mound for the Crimson and White. Tide picks up a huge 3-2 win.
Man, what a crazy day at the ballpark. Goodness gracious, in every way, shape, and form. Just a lot of crazy plays. And, Tennessee played a great game. Really proud of our kids. We could have easily folded or cracked after those defensive miscues in the 7th inning. And kids just keep coming, man. That's what they do. This group's as resilient and as good at dealing with adversity as I've ever had. Just really happy for them if they can get some short-term satisfaction.
Reed Detmers pitched a gem Tuesday night for the Trash Pandas. Career-high 10 strikeouts over 6 innings, but offensively, the Trash Pandas struggle to produce. Would the Bats wake up tonight? Let's take a look and see. Game 2 of the series with the Barons. Good guys up a run already. Ebandel Isabel looks to join in on the fun. Dribbler down the third base line. Throw gets away, and he ends up at second on the throwing error. The 6'4", 225-pounder showing off the wheels. Trash Pandas cannot capitalize, though. That's okay, because 1 run is all Kyle Tyler needed. 6 innings pitched, striking out 9 and allowing just 2 hits. Trash Pandas are back in the win column with the 1-0 dub. The Braves look to best Boston again for the series sweep. Austin Riley hit his 10th homer of the year. Drew Smiley went 5 1/3, 7 earned. That game is currently in a weather delay. It feels like it's been that way for the last 3 hours, because it probably has. Huge news for HBCU schools, including Alabama A&M. The NFL and the Reese Senior Bowl have come together to host the HBCU Combine in Mobile. That's in January of 2022. This will give players at HBCU schools more attention and exposure to all 32 NFL teams. Senior Bowl Executive Director Jim Nagy believes that holding the event is a no-brainer.
We have a unique platform. The game's been around for 73 years. We have this connection to the NFL, so we have to use it. We can't just sit down here in Mobile 365 days a year waiting for the game. We need to be proactive. And everything that's come out this year, with social justice issues and race and diversity and inclusion, we want to be in the forefront of all that. We want to use our game to help those things.
So Alabama A&M, they have some phenomenal players that are taking advantage of that extra year of eligibility. I would not be surprised if a handful of them get invites to this HBCU Combine.